Welcome to Plugged In Chatham-Kent, your business podcast brought to you by Economic Development. I'm Andrew, working communications at Chatham-Kent Economic Development. I'm going to go around the table. We've got to the right of me.
My name is Denny Vervaet. I'm one of the co-owners of Red Barn and the new upcoming brewery we're trying to build in Blenheim.
Perfect. And
I am Sandy Vervaet. So
awesome.
And then the only one that's missing is Daniel, so he's my brother. So the three of us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. And also here
Anthony
today,
Wilson, Economic Development Officer, Ward 6.
Just like twice this week we've done this.
This is, that's right, eh?
2 times in a row.
Monday.
I know. We had a big thing, the Dresden Night Market, so we brought in Marina on Monday and had a sit-down chat with her because there was like 20,000 people to her event, so we thought, well, we probably should follow up.
For sure.
So, yeah, and as events, so before we get into that, so tell us about what you're doing. What do you got going on? What's Red Barn?
So right now, our biggest thing is the build. We have a crew out there, and they're doing the outside shell, local company. Shout out to Broadbent and his guys, and they're doing a great job. Once we kind of get the shell going, then a lot of the inside, our family is very skilled, and we feel we're skilled anyways, and we're going to work on the inside, and over the winter, start to do the aesthetic things, and before then we have the trades people come in, and they'll be working on the guts and all the stuff you won't be able to see that's under the floor and in the sidewalls and all that. So there's a lot of factors going. There's a lot of things going on, and we're just trying to take it do one thing at a time, I guess.
And you're looking at not just doing the brewing side. You also were talking. At least we've talked about the tourism aspect of it too, right? Well, what are you planning on that sort of thing? What are your thoughts?
Well,
what do you hope? What's your big vision?
Yeah,
what's the
our vision from the beginning is we want to showcase the farm. That's where I didn't grow up on a farm originally. I could call myself an adopted farmer now, but Sandy grew up on the farm since she was small, just down the road. We want to show people, the farm. Even some of my friends, they have kids in the city and they love animals, and something that we're gonna have. When other opportunity would they get to come to a farm and enjoy the outdoors and see animals and just look at the stars and just showcase what the farm is in a nutshell, I guess, and as well as have a nice delicious beer on a hot afternoon.
Absolutely.
So we have a lot of ideas down the road, but our big thing is start off small. But yeah, our big thing is just to draw people in from all corners of Ontario and hopefully showcase what we're doing.
Great. So what sort of timelines are you working on right now?
The spring set us back, so we were right off the bat about 2.5 months behind just the cold, well, not cold, but the wet spring.
The wet spring, yeah.
And it was just unreal for anyone and any farmer. And so then we got started, which was good. But ideally, when they would like to start getting into the dirt, it's a little bit nicer, not like cement. Yeah. So that our area is kind of a mess, so it's going to be hard to grow grass on it. But, if we can start brewing in November, December, we're hoping when the tanks will be in, I think the middle of October. Yeah. So if we can start brewing and get our excise license, then maybe we can get in some restaurants later this year, early next. And then we're still hoping that we'd be a full open in May.
And
that's exciting.
You're doing you're doing some sample brewing, right? That's is that something we could talk about? Some of the stuff that you've got going on. I've been fortunate enough to maybe test some of the sample brews.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my brother-in-law, Dan, has we've been brewing for about 5 years now, and just batch after batch, just tweaking in things that we want or we like, very small scale. So I think we get about 40 liters finished product. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 small kegs. It's very tiny when you have a lot of people that want to sample.
Yeah.
Most of the beer we make, we don't even consume ourselves.
Yeah.
Too many friends? Too many friends. Yeah. I'm using air quotes on that one.
Yeah, a lot more friends.
People you haven't seen.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden. But it's fun just to try new beers on different people that don't think they like beer or don't think they like a certain style. We just put a few of them, small samples in front of them, and see where they like to go with it.
Cool. What's your philosophy on beer? Some people are like, we're going to do one. That's all we're going to do, or we're going to do something that's crazy. I think of like the flying monkey out there in the world who's got these wild stuff. Or what's your philosophy? How are you approaching this?
We wanted a beer for everyone. So our opening lineup, we're hoping to have 4, depending on the production schedule. We do have our 4 main core lineup, and we're gonna have a Belgian Wit.
Okay.
We're gonna have a session IPA, a chocolate porter, and our flagship, the blonde. So we're hoping that someone that isn't into craft beer, doesn't know what craft beer is, you can start with the blonde, because that's something more approachable, more like a commercial beer out there, or like a light lager. Ours is a ale, but it's still pretty crisp and seems to be going over very well. And then you can move them into something a little more adventurous, like our session IPA, so something with a little more hops, locally hops that we get from Elmer. And then maybe we'll try them on the sharecropper, which is kind of a heritage to my Pepe, my grandfather, why I got into beer. He came from Belgium. And then, or the chocolate porter, which is the Harwich Moon.
Yeah. So. That was really,
that was your favorite.
That was really good.
So really what he's been asking this whole time is how does he get more?
How do I get more?
And are they under the table?
Porter?
Where are they? Yeah.
So
I have a question. So we were fortunate enough to be at the groundbreaking, where the mayor broke a whole bunch of shovels before he could do it.
The pitchfork, yeah.
Yeah, but so you had mentioned, and I think you just mentioned again about your Pepe, about that story, but I think you had sort of more elaborated on it at the groundbreaking. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure, yeah. It's a story I tell a lot, and I still get chills when I say it, just because it's very, it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So he was like a big part of my life, and he homebrewed his whole life. He homebrewed not on the scale that we're doing, more like in a plastic big garbage pail with a towel over top that sometimes the cat jumped in. But he said, just watch the bottom part, where there might be a little bit of hair in it. Just don't pour it in your glass. Yeah, it's we're in a homebrew club, and we tried to promote that people at home can make good beer. It's not like your typical grandfather's beer. So. Plug for my homebrew club, Maple City Brewers Alliance, and kind of how I got started there too. And but that's how he brewed, and that's how a lot of people brewed back in that era where we didn't have the accessibility to hops or all grain and such like that. So he homebrewed his whole life. He passed away in 2001. I went down the basement and just looking for something that might mean something to me, a bottle cap or whatever. I didn't find anything, but he had a beer fridge in the back, and I opened it up, and there's nothing in the beer fridge. It's on, except for one last stubby bottle. And that was his last homebrew bottle, right placed in the middle of the fridge. Wow. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but I carried around with me all these years in a box, and then about 5 years ago, found it, and thought maybe he wants me to take whoever found it to the next level. So here we are.
I just got a chill too. That just seems pretty.
So now you're gonna frame it with lights on it.
Yeah,
we're gonna we have it. We have it downstairs. We should put in something so it's not gonna break. But it's we figured if he passed away in 2001, if it was his last batch, it could have been 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. So it's pretty old beer, and we've actually asked a couple kind of experts in yeast cultivation and such if we can extract some yeast from it, because there's no bottle condition. So, but I don't want to. I think I just want to leave it as it is.
And they said 20 years is kind of the max.
The viability it kind of drops after that. Yeah. You have to build up and build up and build up to get a viable yeast strain. But I just want to leave it as is. Yeah.
You hear about the researchers who pulled out some old pottery, hundreds or thousands.
Made some bread out of it.
They made bread and they made a beer out of this old pottery. They revived the yeast out of it, and I did some. They said it's like nothing that we'd have in this part of the world, but it's very similar to yeast found in Africa. And so there was a lot of similarities, although still very different. So, it's just wild to me that you can pull this creature out of anything after it's been sitting dormant for
fermented out,
and away you go. So, I think you're definitely past the art stage and into science. You're just what you guys are working on is absolutely the coolest thing. I
Yeah, like
think
I
it's so
hated chemistry in high school. I failed it. Like, it wasn't my thing, but, when it's something you're passionate about, and, you'll find me reading books now, like about yeast cultivating or the acidity of hops.
We just had this talk in our office, so I wrote an article about tacos, right? But I tied it into Chatham-Kent's agriculture sector and all of these really cool facts about how we're like the number one producer of all these different things in Canada and Ontario. And if you just put a post out like that or something like an article like that, it's informative and it's great, but it doesn't capture people. But when you relate it to something that you love, it's like, holy beans,
Holy.
amazing. Caught myself.
Good catch.
Holy moly. Like I didn't realize like we're the number one producer of tomatoes in all of Canada, right? And you need tomatoes for taco and corn seed and all of this type of stuff. So I get what you're saying, but chemistry kind of, I'll say it, chemistry sucked when I was in high school, but if you relate it to something that you love.
And people like the story too, right?
Yeah.
And that's something we never really, we just want to tell our story, but I think people like to hear that, like, where we came from and like what we're doing and as a family and how we're going to get this done and what's our next steps. Like, it's rare that someone says, I want to learn how to brew beer. Like when they see our setup or how does this work? I mean, there are people, but they want to hear like, how we're doing this and how we're going to get it done.
Definitely.
So on that side of how you're going to get things done, I think you went through the Small Business Center Starter Company Plus program, right?
Yes.
So you went through that.
Yep.
So because the beer side is awesome, and then there's the business side, which is a totally different skill set. At least I think it is. Do you find that, or how did you get into the business aspect of this, right? So where have you been with that?
Well, I'll let Sandy
went
talk
for
on
the business though.
Yeah, like I
you
have a
the
degree.
business background.
Yeah.
So marketing.
Okay.
So, yeah, like I my big thing is marketing. I really like marketing. That's what I kind of aimed for in school, and then I've worked at multiple corporations since, different industries, and I've always wanted to kind of own my own business, but I guess this just kind of led us down the road to this, and we kind of, in the background scenes that no one, I always say the boring stuff, that it's not just brewing beer. The brewing beer is essentially the easier part, right? But it's everything else, like, talking to our brewery friends and what they deal with and on a regular basis and how to make things run and keep your cash flow positive and how you're going to keep up and your inventory management. Like, there's all those background boring stuff that you don't see. People see the forward-facing beer on the table, and that's the ultimate goal, is to create the product. But there's a lot of background stuff that does go on, and we have so much more appreciation for people that are in planning or have already opened because they've gone through a lot to get to where they are.
Yeah.
But Sandy, she took the starter course.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. The 3-day, very informative, and we were able to just kind of break down our business plan a bit better and get it more all together. And
That's awesome. You work with Rosemary a lot, right?
And Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to give a little shout out. We're not supposed to talk about too much, but Rosemary is now an EDO 1, so she's doing the same thing now, Anthony. She's moving to a different area within economic development, so we haven't lost her. She's moving over to there, and so you'll be working probably a little closer with Taylor. Oh, it's Rosemary. She works with everybody, so she's one of the friendliest people in the world. So,
and that's what we like about your team too. Is like we're dealing with all you guys, no matter what your job classification is. Like, we see all of you guys everywhere, so it's awesome.
Cool. I before I forget, you mentioned you love marketing, and for everybody who's not watching the video but listening to the audio version of this, the two of you are sitting here decked out in Red Barn, like the swag. Like, you got the t-shirts and the hat, and not just one t-shirt style. There's two totally different.
We're just walking billboards.
You're just walking billboards. It's
Sorry, what he's trying to say is, how do we become walking billboards?
Yeah, so Nizu Optometry, they kind of dropped us a
They did bring a
t-shirt.
shirt.
I'm just saying.
Okay, all right, I see where you're going with
It'd be
this.
nice if somebody went up them. Right?
No.
Well, Sandy, explain our new sales program.
Ooh, this is good.
The mailbag?
Are you okay? Yes, talk about it.
I don't know
Yes.
if you saw it or not.
No, I haven't seen that.
So like a lot of friends and family have purchased the hat or the shirt or something. So you said, like, if you see them on the street, you can just approach them and see if they have any extras, kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Well, we'll leave the rest for you guys to watch. But
you gotta watch the
so
video.
this is a video I should tag in the show notes for this.
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll make a note of that.
And just to talk with the mailbag, so that's just a fun little thing that we started I think we're on our 5th mailbag now, and we just decided that we have our picnic table out on the site, and we just wanted to show what's going on in the background and answer some questions that people send into the email that we provide. And it's kind of gone a whole different new direction, but it's fun, and we answer real questions from people in the area that want to know more about what we're doing. So
that's awesome.
Where's the video? So I'm going to link it in the show notes, but
it's on any social media.
So what are your social medias?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay, and people would look for like the Red Barn or
search us up on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, so that's probably a great question. So how would people find out more about Red Barn?
Yeah.
Like, where would they go? What would be the best?
Probably our website.
Your website? What's the website?
redbarnbrewing.com.
Redbarnbrewing.com. I can't talk, but we're going to put it in the notes. So.
Yeah.
Brewing.
So on there, we showcase our main 4 beers that we're going to open with. A little bit about our history. There's some cool blogs in there that we're starting to try when we have filler time, which is never. But we have a couple of blogs in there. The one I just kind of shared with My Pepe, and Sandy just did one recently.
Yeah. About growing up on a farm and just, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, because you're doing this and working and have kids, right? Yeah, so...
We've lost all of our hobbies. Like, we don't have any hobbies anymore.
Let's say the beer making is the
it's hobby. The hobby turned to something else. It is a lot of time. Like, brewing in itself is, it's a very time-consuming thing. And
doing it tonight?
Yeah, we were doing a batch tonight. Yeah. So we picked hops last night off of our own vines. They're called vines, not vines, with hops. And I think there's a video last night of us, just live video that we did and picking them, and the kids are there with us picking them. And then tonight we'll do what's called a wet hop batch. So you take the hops essentially as soon as you can from whole form, and you throw them in the boil, or you can dry hop them as well. And it's neat because you'll never be able to replicate it. Like last year, the Cascade hop that we like to use a lot, it had a undertone of like watermelon at the end of the sip, which is really nice. Yeah, but this year it might not. Who knows?
You're gonna make a beer drinker of you.
I don't drink, but all this stuff makes me want to drink. Watermelon, wow. Yeah, that
You can make them an alcohol-free chocolate porter.
If you can make a beer that's like high in protein and low in carbs that you could have after a workout.
The shake of beers.
That's the thing with beer. It's endless. Like, there's so many possibilities of what you could do with it. Like, a big thing now is fruit beers, and that's something that we're going to be. We've already been testing a lot of different fruit beers from local produce from this area, which is fun. Nice. So we can collaborate with them, showcase what they do and how they grow, and then it's in our final product.
Are you working with a lot of local producers to do hops or do that type of grains or anything like that? Or
the hops we are. VQH out of Elmer, he's been awesome to work with, and he has a high quality product. Mm-hmm. We actually have to probably put a big order in now for the fall now, because we've always been just placing small test orders, and grains doesn't really grow. Barley doesn't grow well for malting around here.
Okay.
So a lot of our grain, it's still Canadian, but it's just not from this area.
Oh, that's fair.
Vomitoxins are not kind to the barley grown around here. So, anyways, for malting.
Cool.
And some vegetables and fruit are used from just the road behind us.
Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts on this whole cannabis beer industry?
I don't know. It's still so new. I mean, there's some breweries in the States that already have some out there. I don't know. I think just the cannabis industry in general right now is still new. So
yeah,
I believe that it will be popular, but I don't know how. Like we always say, like, and everyone says, like, you have to be responsible, and with our product too. And so now you're putting, mixing marijuana with beer. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's something that you can buy at a retail and take it home, rather than consume it as a tasting room. I'm not sure. Like I haven't really looked into too much yet, but it could be something that down the road that the consumer wants.
Yeah, it seems to be a changing market out there. So it certainly. What was the beer that was made in response to some very snarky comments by one of the major breweries. There was like a peach. I don't know if you recall this campaign. There was I don't want to name the big brewery the day, but they came out and were very upset about all the microbrewers, and so they came up with some sort of, somebody made a peach watermelon something beer, and so I see this as now it was a couple of years ago, so
yeah, it's
a changing market as well.
It is, sure, yeah. So. And it's fun, like the kind of the craft industry. They're on one team, and the commercial beer is almost essentially on another, and I think they like to throw some fun back and forth with each other. But it's a big business for the big beer, and it's also in Ontario. It's starting to become a huge business for this market as well. So.
Absolutely.
And I think we need it too, especially in Chatham-Kent, because I think like what you guys are doing is more than just making beer, right? It's like you guys are creating things for people to do in the sense like, some of the other producers in the community as well, but, places to go to sit down and have a beer that's made locally and with stories attached to it versus, just picking up a case at the beer store. So I think that's really cool. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's my way of saying that in a really twisted.
It's good. No, it's good.
It's Friday.
No, thank you.
Hey, Build the Barn. So let's talk a little bit about this. So what's Build the Barn?
All right. Well, we want to invite the community to to be involved in our project, because they've been so supportive of us to this point, and it's actually been overwhelming. It's a good overwhelming, but a lot of people had interest of I want to purchase your product. Well, we can't sell it right now. You want to buy some merchandise, and we have limited amounts because we are not open as well either. But and the merchandise, you don't want to have too much inventory when you're just kind of starting out. So we kind of thought how can we involve the community and to be a part of our project, but to kind of give back to them as well as a reward or benefit of helping. So we came up with Build the Barn, and it's a program where we're selling 50 packages, and in the packages include anything from, there's 3 different levels, from the drone photography of your area, or a photo with your family, so that that family photo is now going to go on our wall. And
so it'll be like a little
cool.
Red Barn family,
Oh, that's I like the great idea.
Yeah, with all their pictures.
Show
they
who's
helped,
involved.
build the barn.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I like that.
So there's lots of other fun things in there too. We're having a pretty grand opening. So anyone that buys one of these packages gets 2 tickets to the pre-grand opening, where it's not open to the tasting room's not open to anyone else but them until this party, and a private room rental, lots of fun merch like the shirts and hats and
growlers.
Some growlers and refills, and so there's a lot of things we packed into it, and it's been fun. It's been going really well too.
And so if people wanted more information on that, they would go to your site as well?
You can, go right to our site. You can go buildthebarn.redbarnbrewing.com.
Okay.
So another link we can include in there?
I'll put that in the show notes, so make sure we get that messaged out. So
sure.
If everybody listening or watching, check all the show notes. I'll put them in there. That's awesome. How many packages do you think are left? Were you looking at?
Right now, so we have 50, and there is about 40 left.
40 left? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and that's been launched pretty recently. So
sure.
People should check that. And if they're all gone, I apologize. But yeah, we'll put this out, and hopefully people can get access to it beforehand. Of course, if they're mad because they're all gone, they can send you the mail bag thing, right?
Sure, yeah. Send in your mad questions.
Send me I couldn't get one. It's all my family. So
there's lots of fun packages left. We have 1 package of the top package left, and that's fun too, because it includes your name to be on a fermenter. So one of the fermenters will be named after you, and you get to help with us develop your own beer that you can name and label, and we will sell in the tasting room.
Oh.
Wow, I have a certain mayor that I bet mine.
Forget the mayor, I was thinking us.
Just
saying. I love Darren, but
if Darren's listening.
Tell him right to his face.
Sorry, man. That's awesome.
Just picture this taco type beer.
Yeah. Okay, well that
now he's interested. Yeah.
The nacho beer.
Or
It's
a beer
mine.
that just enhances the taco flavor.
Sure. Pair it with the taco.
The name's coming up.
Right?
Well, you're starting a taco truck, so it'll all work
I'd
out.
love to.
So, yeah.
I'll serve Red Barn.
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Or we'll have you. Yeah, because we're gonna have food trucks.
We'll have
so.
each other.
It's something that we actually learned from a couple of our brewery friends that put a cement pad so that you can have the area for like food trucks. So we're not going to be offering our own food in-house, maybe some little snacks and such, but we're talking with food trucks to line up those for next year so that every weekend we can have something new that people can try right on the patio or right inside, or if you want to bring your own food, it's, we're pretty easy going.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
See, you need to start your taco food truck.
I need to start drinking.
No, start with a taco food truck, and then
taco
realize
food
you don't have
truck.
time for that, and
Okay,
it's better
I
invested
gotcha.
in taco food
I
truck.
gotcha.
Yeah, your path is much better right now.
Yeah. I think so.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say about Red Barn that we should have asked?
We're working hard.
Working hard?
We're getting there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we wanted to go to the Dresden market because that's a really good event, and Sandy and I were cutting wood, so we're doing a lot of wood cutting these days because we're lining the ceiling with pine board, and it's from local logs in the area that we've actually cut down with a sawmill, and now they're turning into boards, and we're trying to do as much as we can ourselves that we put into this project with our own heart. So
That's awesome.
And then reuse some of the wood
oh
from
yeah.
the old timber from the original Red Barns.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then we're busy just before the show trying to invite you out to events and try to steal. So I'm going to put a plug in for our event in Wallaceburg next week on the 28th. We're doing a League of Business. You went to the first one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was amazing.
So, we're going to mix it up. We're going to do trivia night. So I'll tell you now what's going to happen with this. You might walk in together. We're going to split everybody up into teams that they haven't worked with before.
That's a good idea.
And everybody gets to meet new people and answer crazy trivia questions about things like tacos.
There may even be a question about a local brewer
Oh, we really
who we've
should.
been talking about today.
Yeah. Oh, we could slide a question in there. Yeah.
No, we already have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We did, didn't we?
We'll be able to answer it, though.
Yeah. We got the answer. You know, one. You've got one. Hopefully, I hope.
I hope we got that one. Yeah.
I don't know. The last event in Blenheim with the speed dating for business owners, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you
It
had
was a
that.
lot of fun.
It
And
was.
there's a lot of people that asked us after, like, if there's going to be another one, so I don't know if you guys are
Yep.
lining up one for...
Yeah, we're going to message out to everybody there at that event. And we've had great registration so far for Wallaceburg. I'm just putting a little plug out there to remind everybody about that. And then we've got another one coming up in October. This was Anthony's idea. It was a mentors event. So we're going to switch it up so that we can bring in we've got a pool of like amazing mentors, and we want to partner them up with people who want to find a mentor and do it another different type of league of business. So we're trying to mix up so it isn't just one type of event every single time. And do things a little differently,
Sure,
shake
yeah.
up the community a little.
Yeah, network is important, and that's
Definitely.
how we do our business. We collaborate with local business, and anytime you get to meet someone new to help your own business or to learn something, how they do something, that's a benefit to everybody. So
Absolutely.
And that's exactly the idea.
Yeah.
Exactly the idea. So
Yeah, I'm going to plug those two events. There's so many more coming up. We were chatting about today, just before I got here, there was I think, did you go to the first women's networking meeting?
Yes, I did.
We're talking today about the second one. That will be in September. The date's going to be launched soon. We'll have more information coming out about that. But I was working with the ladies who were organizing that, and so that'll be coming along. And there's a lot coming up. September, October, the rest of this year is going to be just packed. So. Of course,
September already.
I know, it's
Isn't that
there.
crazy?
Back to school.
yeah, Sandy's happy about that.
Yeah, so am I.
Ditto.
I mean, daycare, but yeah, back to school. Of course, we post all of the ad information on investck.ca is where you find our information, including your article about tacos. It's in the news section. Can't not post that article. yeah, that's ours. So at ECDev is at ECDevCK, sorry, is our social media, and you're at what was your website? At
redbarnbrewing.com.
redbarnbrewing.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can do a search for Build a Barn. And oh, hey, you give a shout out to Maple City Brewers Alliance. So just before we go, what is that? What's the?
So yeah, it's the club that we started with from the get go. On, people coming together that are same minded, that want to brew good beer, and you learn from each other. That's awesome. Taste each other's product. The meetings are held every Tuesday at Sons of Kent, actually, and if you
beginning of each month. It's not every Tuesday.
No, sorry, once a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Second Tuesday of each month, and you can get more information on their social media as well. And
perfect.
It's I think brewing can be overwhelming to the person that has never done before, and I would say like when we first started going too as well, because you feel like you don't know anything, but it's a lot of it is experimentation, and as long as you're willing to learn and to put the time in, like there's a lot of great beers. Like the beers, you would be surprised how like good tasting beers, like some people in Chatham-Kent you wouldn't even know they're brewing, have out there. So it's the people in the club are passionate, and I should have worn their shirt today. I'm talking about them. We haven't been recently to a meeting just because we have our own meetings every Tuesday. So unfortunately, but I still talk with those guys all the time, and they have some cool events coming up in the future. So
that's awesome. Well, I'll tag them in on this as well. That's one of the things we want to share, all the news that's going on around here, because there's so many things happening. One of the things that drives me crazy when people say there's nothing to do in Chatham-Kent. We're like, are you kidding me? There's so much to do.
Yeah. Just gotta look for it and
find your niche.
Find something what you like doing and go after it.
Yeah. Exactly. So awesome! Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was great for coming out. I'll do another sampling at some point in the future.
Sure,
It'd be awesome.
I will even sample too.
Yeah. Hey, if we have to twist your arm, so
it's twisted.
All right,
It's been twisted today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
Folks in Chatham-Kent, please continue to support local businesses. These are the guys that are going to support your kids' soccer teams, not Amazon. Thank you so much. Stay classy, Chatham-Kent.
stay classy.